Good evening, my students. ഞാൻ സ്പീഡ് വായിക്കാൻ വന്ന് സിമ്പിളായിട്ടുള്ള മാറ്ററാണ് രണ്ടെണ്ണം വായിക്കുന്നത് കേട്ടോ. അപ്പോൾ അതുകൊണ്ട് വേർഡ്സ് ഒന്നും പറയാനില്ല, നേരത്തെ പറഞ്ഞിട്ടുള്ള വേർഡ്സൊക്കെ തന്നെ അവർ റെഡി. എ ലിറ്റിൽ വൈൽ അഗോ വി കൺസിഡേർഡ് ദി റാദർ സ്ട്രേഞ്ച് ഫാക്ട് that it is very often the people who talk most about the good old days who at other times tell us about the very hard times they had in their own early days. In these easy going days, they say young people do not know what it is to work really hard, and they continue it is as a direct result of their own hard work that they are today the men they are. And we, of course, are left in no doubt whatever that we of the present day can never hope to be as good men and women as our fathers and mothers. If this is the case, the country today is in a very bad way. But is it the case if the young people of today are of poorer quality than their fathers and mothers? We may ask whether the old people of today are in their turn of poorer quality than their fathers and mothers, who no doubt had to face even less easy conditions. Clearly, this cannot be the case, for if we are today better than the people of 1,000 or 2,000 years ago, it is because on the whole the young people at any given time have been as good as the old people and even a little better. The material conditions of life for the than they have ever been. People generally have better food, better houses, and better schools. More care is taken to see that young people, as far as possible, work of a kind which will interest them. And almost all large business houses now provide playing fields for their workers. Not only are these better conditions afforded to the people, it is of equal importance to note that the people are making full use of the better conditions. Authorities all over the country have provided schools where those who are at work during the day may increase their knowledge in their free time, either without charge or at a very low cost, and the attendance at such schools are growing yearly. Women all over the country and in every station of life are learning the food values of different kinds of food, and people generally are moving. അടുത്ത സ്പീഡ് വായിക്കുവാണ്. സെക്കൻഡ്. Sir, I wonder whether it will be possible for the government to achieve the target under public loan and small savings, especially in view of the recent announcement made by the Reserve Bank of India. So we have to increase our income through taxation. We should become more objective and not subjective. We should not think in terms of only pleasing some people. We cannot have a plan of high order without imposing additional taxes. In a continually developing economy like ours, there is the question of tackling inflation. I do not expect that through taxation it is possible to control inflation. The most important principle enunciated by eminent economists is that the raw material for any economic development is the human factor. This human factor has to be taken into consideration when we went to prepare an effective plan. When there is a continuing demand for increase in salaries and wages leading to higher cost of management, we have to consider ways and means of absorbing the additional money to be pumped into the economy of the country for meeting these demands. One factor which is glaring in our country is that we do not have any consideration for the economy of the nation when we think of savings. The savings factor is related to the purchasing capacity of the individual. I do agree that with an increase in prices, the capacity of an individual to purchase definitely decreases. In such a case, it is illusory to think of increasing the standard of living of the individual in the real sense of the term. One of the greatest difficulties that we are finding in our country is to fight against our own habits. Once we fall into a habit, it is difficult for us to change the same and resort to reducing our spending. Every one of us wants to stick to a particular standard of living, but we are not able to maintain that standard because of higher taxation. Then we contemplate upon avoiding taxes by various means. When we cannot avoid it, we urge for higher salaries and allowances. These are factors which come into play when prices go up. In the circumstances, it becomes impossible for the government to resist the demand for increase in salaries. Increase in salaries obviously leads to higher inflation. Then government have to levy higher taxation to absorb the extra money thrust into the economy. Thank you.